that would be a nice option.
Yeah, just trying to think of something close.
Well, we can't go north. We can't go north because
Trish Bartel,
How are you?
what I want to know is how long is your husband going to be in Wyoming?
He left Wyoming today and is on his way, or is in Salt Lake tonight, and then he comes home tomorrow.
So did they drive?
They flew to Salt Lake,
From
and
Phoenix? From Phoenix or where?
then Jeff flew from here to Phoenix to Salt
Okay.
Lake. Yeah,
Got it. And is he with his buddy, his?
his buddy geologist.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. It's August 15th, 6 o'clock, Transportation and Circulation Committee. And thank you all for attending. We have I think a pretty short agenda today, so let's get going. Roll call. I'll go ahead and Trish Bartel.
Present.
Jeff Bartel is not here. Jim Hale.
Here.
Lynette Ternowski here. Jeff Krebs.
Here.
And Tom is just connecting. Tom, we're doing roll call.
He's still loading.
Okay. Oh, he doesn't have any mic. Okay, but Tom is here. So that's great. I don't have any announcements. Does anybody else have any announcements they'd like to make? Any of the committee members they'd like to make an announcement?
I have one.
Okay.
LOCAC is presently looking for volunteers for District 1 and District 3. If you are interested or know anyone who is interested. And that would be to sit on the board of LOCAC.
And are the district maps on the website?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
I apologize. I pushed the wrong button and I got exited out. Okay. All right. So thank you, Trish, for that announcement. Do I have any other announcements? Doesn't look like it. All right, moving on. Do we have any public comment for items that are not on the agenda? Jeff, did you have a comment?
I'm trying here.
Okay.
There we go. I'm trying to figure out how to raise my hand. Golly. Let me see how I'm not good on this stuff. Did I just not? Oh, geez. Let me see. There we go. So a couple things that I found, and I passed on to Deborah and golly, I'm losing the name, our not the county rep, but golly, can't think of his name. But anyway, when up in Yosemite, I found a really interesting study. They're doing obviously traffic issues up there, and it's a very exhaustive deal, but peeling it back a little bit, I came across where they had a study done, or a study was done for them, that actually uses cell data to somehow replicate or understand pedestrian, bicycle, and vehicle traffic, obviously in their particular area. But I thought that was a really interesting application that perhaps is something we might be able to use. I understand it's pretty expensive and there's a variety of things. I didn't even think that was a practical application of some sort, but just putting it out there that there are different ways to try to start modeling where traffic is going and how people are actually using that in some of this multimodal thing. The Yosemite thing is really crazy with what's going on up there. And so it's pretty interesting to peel that back.
So what did they use it for, Jeff? Do you know?
They're actually they're doing a comprehensive study to try to figure out, how much, where should they put new parking lots to use transit? Should they use more transit? But the traffic is unbearable if you're trying to get into the valley right now. And yet, once you're in the valley, people do like to hike or walk to get to place or use their transit. And so they're trying to figure out where are the locations people are going and how they're trying to get there. And they're just trying to get ideas of what is the public's best preference going out, recognizing, there are going to be just a lot of traffic issues and it's just a big visitor thing. Over Memorial Day, if you were trying to get into the park, it was 3.5 hours just to get into the park at the gate. Then you would go down. I mean, we were getting the notifications, so we were inside the park working there, volunteering, and so we would be alerted to where parking was being closed because it was full and stuff like that. People would get into the park, they'd start getting down to the valley, and then all the valleys closed, and so they were turning people around. It was a laborious mess as far as I was concerned. So anyway, long story short, they're trying to come up with what's the best practical solution to accommodate visitors in all of their multimodal needs and recognizing there's increased traffic. But what I was impressed by is understanding that there is this thing, and I think it's out of UC Davis. There is a database system that they're able to do to come up with some sort of modeling. So what you could actually do today is in Los Osos, if you had this system, I think, is figure out where are people really biking? Is it school people? Is it kids? And what are the routes that people are really taking? How many people are really trying to walk to get to the stores? It's just trying to understand existing traffic patterns. And then in our case, you also have to try to overlay, well, you're trying to get more people not taking the local trips in the vehicles if they felt safe using a car or a bicycle. And frankly, in the future, with all of this electric bike, scooter, all kinds of stuff, I really can see where people may be challenged today to say, I'm willing to ride a bike with the electric bikes and stuff. I get the impression that may be something that people, even in our generation, would be willing to do the local trips. Anyway, it's just an observation that I came up with.
Thank you. And I think that is a very interesting thing that we might want to explore, because I've been thinking quite a bit about Montana de Oro. And one of the things that would help the traffic flow to Montana de Oro is if people could park and then take a shuttle instead of all the traffic coming into the park one at a time, one vehicle at a time. I think it would benefit the park. I think it would benefit our local streets, but that would take some really advanced planning. And perhaps that would even involves, Jeff, I don't know what's the current status of entering into Yosemite, but perhaps we need to have sort of a day pass. You can't go into Montana de Oro unless you have a day pass, or if you live here, you get an annual pass where you have continuous access, something like that, so that we can, because going down there, the parking situation is very bad. And a lot of people want to go there.
Yeah, we also, and I haven't really looked back at what changed or what the motivation was. And actually, I think it was a suggestion through LOCAC, previous board of LOCAC. You know, at one point, and it may be in the Estero plan, there was a proposed route that was going to go up South Bay and up around Highland, essentially to circumvent Los Osos. And I don't know if it was considered impractical, people didn't want it, but anyway, it got eliminated, and
Yeah, that got removed from the community plan. It was part of a green belt behind Cabrillo. And you had fish and wildlife on one side. You had a small band that was privately owned, and then you had CSD water basin. So they decided that with all of those things, that it was not a feasible route.
So LOCAC decided that,
No,
or who
the
is
county
they?
did. The county
Excuse me?
did.
Oh, okay. And that's the part I didn't know. I just remembered, I'm thinking, boy,
Yeah.
is there a way to get around Los Osos? And then actually you could take some of the northern people, could be taking that route to get around Los Osos, LOVR. Anyway, it was just an off thought I had, and I hadn't really researched it much.
Wow. That's a very interesting concept.
When
Well-
was that considered, Trish, do you know, or?
That was considered probably, Lynette probably knows better than I do, probably 10 plus years ago. But then Fish and Game took over more of the land over by Broderson.
Mhm.
And then then the county has some land. I mean, it was just like, it's all divvied up, and they would have to go through the county, Fish and Game, something else, then private, and then CSD in order to get that pathway.
I'm thinking it was around 2011. I think we had
Yeah.
meetings at the community center about this. And there was also the talk about having a kiosk to get into Montaña de Oro. But then that would be up to state parks to build one and maintain it. So if we did the pass idea, you would have to have them agree to have a kiosk with a ranger and all that. So
Yeah, there was a kiosk that actually had been proposed and was going to go forward, and this was back in, I'm going to say the 80s, maybe even before that. Dave or Bev might know. And it actually was set up at a specific location, and I think there was some issues, both with the local community, they didn't want to pay. It was a local access. And the second one, I think it was because it was a private landowners on the other side. It became a problem, I think, for them to figure out how to implement something like that. So, I mean, they had a design and whole shebang set up to do a kiosk, but that was before my time.
Something possibly to revisit. But one of the things that is important for our committee to take a look at is parking. We don't have enough parking, and we might want to think about incorporating parking into our thinking in terms of, where are people going? Look at all the people that go to Sea Pines when they have their big musical events, and there's no parking. They're parking on the street. So it's very difficult to take a property and put a parking lot on it. It's not something that we would really want to do, but we do need to consider parking. And one of the things that when the people came for our safe track safety assessment, when we were down in Baywood, they had some really good suggestions about how to increase parking by just repainting some of the striping, and you would actually have more parking spots just by making some changes like that. So that's something that we might want to consider taking a look at sometime. But tonight, we're going to get going on our agenda, which is the Los Osos Valley Road Corridor Study. This study is going to take a while, but it's open for comment. It's starting right now. And so I'm going to pull this up on my screen. And we're going to take a look at it. So let me go. Share screen.
Are you going to mention anything about the status of the Safe Trek report in here? It's not on the agenda, and I know
Well, I
you said
didn't put it on the
August.
agenda because I was hoping it would be here, but it didn't come. They said August. I was
Okay.
hoping I would have gotten it. I didn't get it, so I didn't put it on the agenda.
Okay. Yeah, okay. No, I didn't know if you had talked with them. They said, hey, it's third week or something. You just haven't heard from them.
I sent them an email. It took a while to get a reply, and they said, oh, it should come out in August.
Okay.
That was
Okay.
as much as I got.
Okay.
So here's the website. We're posting this website all over the place, and there's going to be some public outreach on this. They're going to be at the farmers market. They're going to be doing a meeting. Let's see, hold on. Let me scroll down here. Public outreach is good and through winter. Sorry, I lost my spot here. So public outreach is through winter of 2023. They did a presentation at the Bicycle Advisory Committee, and they're going to be at the farmers market on the 21st. And up here, there are two things that I want to draw your attention to. If you haven't done this already, then I encourage you to do it and ask everyone you know to do it. You want to go to the interactive map, click on that. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
So these are the comments that people have already made. Take a look here. So this is more like Turi Road. That's a like, dislike. Let's go here. Let's go into Los Osos. Crosswalk at this location is poorly marked. It should have lights similar to those highlighting crosswalks in the downtown area. So you click on a spot, you go up here, let's close that. You go up here, you say add a comment. And then it's a driving comment, a pedestrian comment, et cetera, et cetera. Then let's say you want to make a pedestrian comment. And then you want to, let me expand this so we can see it better. Well, maybe not that much. Where is this? No, we want to be more. I don't have my mouse, so I'm going to do this with my fingers. All right. So I see we're getting a lot of comments here next to the, so I'm just going to make a comment here. Oh, I have to do it within the highlighted area. All right, but anyway, you get the point. You go in, you click on this, you choose what kind of comment you're making, you find the location that you want to comment on, you click, and you go and you post your comment there. This is critically important because these comments are going to be used, and I'm going to go get out of this. Let's see if I can get out and not lose my planes. Oh. So what they're going to do is they're going to consolidate the community plan, the circulation plan, the Frome Ranch specific transportation impact study, and the bikeways plan into one document. And then that is the document that they will use to make improvements for Los Osos Valley Road. So whatever we want, whatever we need to make sure that it gets into this comment section of the map. And then in addition to, you can also take a survey. You just click down there, which it may not let me do it since I already took the survey, but then it asks you some questions about how you use Los Osos Valley Road and what you do and where you go and things like that. Both of these things are really important. So I'm going to stop sharing unless you have a question about what's on my screen right now. Okay.
It's very intuitive, really.
It is. And I didn't realize you could like and dislike certain things that people say, but I'll go back in and start, adding my likes and dislikes to comments that other people have made. I tried to myself put in comments of all the people who have reached out to me and given me their comments. And I've also reached back out to them and I said, here, go to the website, make your comment. So I think we're off to a good start. There seems to be a lot of comments there and we have more time to add comments. So let me open it up for discussion.
I'll add, if I may, sorry, Lynette.
Oh, it's okay.
The Slow Bicycle Club sent out the link as well and asked for input. And a number of cyclists have chimed in. So we need to get Mr. Bartel as well. I spent some time on it today, adding comments and such. So that's good.
Lynette?
Did this information or this link get put into the Estero Bay News? Because that would be one way to get it out.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question. I did speak to John Lynn and I asked him to write an article and the article came out in the Tribune today and he said it's going to be in the Estero Bay News. So
Oh.
yes, it's coming out. They're also going to have, my understanding is they're going to have signs that have a QR code on them, or maybe even flyers with a QR code that you can just, capture the QR code and it'll take you right to the website where you can post your comments. And so if I can get that QR code, which I don't have it yet, I thought, we could put it at like Ralph's or, who knows where. We put it everywhere, put it at Beerwood, we'll put it, wherever people go. And they can, make their comment. Dave or Bev, go ahead.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Yeah, what day did you say they were going to be at the farmer's market? Because I went down there looking for them yesterday and nobody was there.
The 21st.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be this Monday. And I think they're only coming one time. As far as I know, it's just the one time. And they may have the QR code there. So if they do, that would be great. Maybe I'll see if I can capture it. Any suggestions on how more ways that we can get this information out and we can get as many comments as possible?
Next door.
I did put it on Nextdoor.
I think the point with Nextdoor, because I'm with another group that has trouble getting anybody to look at anything, is that you have to get a group of people to agree to go to that link and make a comment of, I forget how many words, to try and build it up. Otherwise, it sits there and nobody looks at it.
Okay, well, I'll post it again.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you want to send an email or maybe get all of LOCAC, hey, post on Nextdoor, then maybe we could get some energy generated, because I know from posting other things for another group I'm in, it just dies if nobody gets in there and writes.
That's true.
Good. Okay, good point. Thank you for reminding me. Okay. Dave, your hand is still up. So do you have another
Yeah,
comment or?
I had another comment.
Okay,
That's just, I was reading that, beware of QR codes that have stickers on them, because apparently anybody can make a sticker that has a QR code on it, and it can take you right to a place that'll mess up your computer or your phone.
okay. All right. So you're saying that the QR code is a sticker?
They stick a sticker on top of a sticker, or on top of a QR code that's been posted someplace. And
Oh,
it's not the real QR code, it's a fraudulent one that will mess up your phone.
okay.
So beware of QR codes that are
All
posted
right.
publicly.
Well, better to use the link. You know, really. Jeff, you had a comment?
Yeah, just a couple of mine that I put in were more general and not necessarily location specific, but the fact that the California Coastal Trail is going to be at least going out to MDO from Petro Road on out, but I think it's going to come all the way back through LOVR, mostly for bicycles.
It
And
is.
and then the other one is the fact that LOVR is an evacuation route. And so whatever designs are being done to protect variety of modes of transportation still needs to have a factor in it so that the flood of cars can leave if they need. More for the thought of perhaps whatever design they come up with, there's different avenues for funding. I mean, it becomes evacuation may be able to come out with some sort from some safety type of a funding deal. Anyway, it was more from the funding aspect that I at least was making sure that that was still being factored in.
That is an excellent point. You're 100% right. That is an evacuation route. The only actually evacuation route.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Any other comments? Well, that's what we have on the agenda.
That's it, huh?
But, you know, like what my comments were to give you examples, but you guys don't need my examples. You have excellent ideas on your own.
Yeah,
And
I had one more that
Mhm.
I did say, and again, it's a general, and you can go along each location within the commercial area. But again, more for Los Osos, we want to get people into bikes or walking. We need bike parking, safe bike parking for people's bicycles at the various commercial locations. And so it was a general comment, you know, I guess you could put a deal down at Ralph's and buy minors and stuff like that, but you know, I don't know that it needs to be totally prescriptive, but if we're trying to encourage people to drive, you know, use bicycles for local commuting, they got to be comfortable leaving, I assume, an expensive bicycle and assume it's going to be there when they come out from shopping. So anyway, that was one of my other comments I put in there.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And so what the first thing that comes to my mind is the bike parking would be near a security camera where there would be video watching that location.
That was one of the solutions I kind of brainstormed early on. I don't know that we can go what it would take to be secure, but just planting the seed, you know, there needs to be several locations. And maybe it isn't just on the north side or south side or which side, the Ralph side. You know, future Los Osos might have some more stuff on the opposite side, the Highland side. So again, I don't have a crystal clear thought, but if you're thinking long range planning and big time change here, they need to have some of those thoughts in their mind.
Yeah, excellent. Good point. Dave, you have another comment?
Yeah, I just have been looking at the agenda, and you have all these different circulation studies, and I just wondered, is the idea that all of those 4 studies are going to be put together into one, or what?
That's
Because there's a
correct.
lot to read.
That's correct. That is what they are going to do. With this Los Osos Valley Road corridor study, they're going to combine the 2020 community plan, the 2021 circulation study, the 2019 Frome Ranch. I guess that's more on the east end of Los Osos Valley Road. I'm not familiar with Frome Ranch. And the 2016 county bikeways plan. They're taking all those documents, and then they're taking the new comments and information they're getting from the survey, and they're going to create one plan. That's the idea. And that one plan is going to be the planning document for everything that happens going forward when it comes to capital improvements, funding, projects, et cetera, et cetera.
And the place where you showed us the interactive map, that's not any one of these plans. That's another place on their website, right?
Yeah, so if you go down on the agenda, you can't really see that very well, but if you go down past where the little blue text box are, it says comments, and then it has a link to safety plan, my social pinpoint. Do you see
Okay.
that?
Yep.
That's the link. If you click on
Okay.
that, it will take you to the page that I was at and we were just looking at.
Yeah, the
Okay,
challenge
thanks.
we're going to have is, Jake has already said that really their job is to assimilate all of those plans. The circulation plan is specifically targeted to vehicles and solely vehicles. The community plan is specifically targeted at vehicles and solely vehicles, with the addition of putting in Parks and Rec, showing an old trails thing, and the bike plan, which if they're only going to look at LOVR, that's going to be very simplistic. It's going to be really interesting to see all these comments and try to figure out how they're going to assimilate the community's comments here into those things, which really didn't address as much of the multimodal stuff. But so it'll be interesting to see it. They've at least opened up the door to hear what people have to say.
That's exactly right, Jeff. And that's why it's critical that we get as many of our comments in there as possible. So they do include pedestrian, cycling information, trail information into this plan, because once it's done, I don't think we're going to have an opportunity to really give the same level of input for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then SlowCog will come in and they'll say, okay, we're going to rate these projects and, which one rises to the top. Go ahead, Lynette.
Oh, Frome Ranch is right next to Costco.
Okay, that's why it sounded familiar to me. Yeah, that's way the other end. But that's weird because this study starts at Foothill.
Correct.
Yeah, I think they're combining a couple different studies in that.
So would it be helpful, Deborah, to ask people also to go through all of the comments, or as many as they can, and like the ones that they like, or just to show that there's more community support for those particular comments and potential initiatives?
Yeah, so let me go back there.
I think that would be smart. It would almost be, you'd have to kind of do that at the end of the process. Because if you went in today and you saw all these comments and you saw the ones you wanted, or however you wanted to like them, now you come in 2 months from now, you don't want to look at the same ones you already looked at. There's no way to really differentiate, I guess, age dating them, to be able to just look at the new ones and say, okay, I agree with that, or, whatever. But that may be a good thing to do, but probably just before it closes.
Yeah, interesting. I did as many as I could today, but I have more to do, so.
Yeah, it's just, if there's a lot more comments, it'll be hard for you. I mean, the way that, because they just have these 4 or 5 color codes, you got to look at that one. You got to reread maybe one you already did in August. and I don't know, I guess you get to double click it. I don't really know how they're counting them, but I do think weighting something where they really see there's a lot of people passionate about that should help.
Yeah, I would think so.
Maybe you'd like one better that after they've all been submitted than one that you liked earlier on.
And that's the other one. It's a kind of a hard one to figure out how they're going to really take this material and distill it into something truly useful. But I think their consultant has some sort of model this stuff goes into and tries to figure out stuff, helps them do this.
You're on
Hello?
mute, Deborah.
I'm on, I keep, every time I try to share screen, I keep getting kicked off the Zoom meeting. I'm so sorry. But I tried to Google the consultant and I couldn't find them. So I'm going to have to find out a little bit more about them. I wanted to just do a little background research on that third-party consultant that they have hired to do the study. But anyway, yeah, I think that's a good point, Jeff, about let's just, when we get to the end, go in and do all the likes. So you remember.
Well, I mean,
right?
everybody has a different appetite to it. It's just, I think it'll be difficult if I were to go in now. I would see stuff that I super agree with, but then how do I know if I saw that same one? Because just the way that they were doing their system, it's kind of hard.
Yeah. And you really, now I'm going to try to do this and not get kicked off again. Hold on.
So it would be actually would have been cool if you could have time sliced it and said, hey, I only want to see the comments in September or October. Then you'd be able to just look at the new comments and not have to try to wade through the whole thing. But it's not that sophisticated.
All right, I'm going to try this again. All right, let's see. All right, because what really needs to happen is this needs to be expanded out so you can sort of separate them out and see them. And then Jim, how do you do the like?
So just click on any one of those comments. To anyone, just click on it. And then you can like it, like the.
Oh, I
here's
see,
one.
right
Yeah.
there. All right, got it.
Can you like it more than once?
No, no, because if you hit it again, it'll go away.
Oh, it took it off.
Yep.
Okay, well, there you go. Interesting. All right. I'm gonna get out of here.
Last time we did it with Post-its. That was the time when we all met out there at Morrow's Monarch Grove School and stuck Post-its on whiteboards.
That's right.
I think you're dating yourself there, Dave.
Well, they were, people could look at those Post-its the same way, but I guess it's not on a computer, so it's not cool anymore.
Yeah, well, I have pictures of Post-its fluttering around, as this sticky part gets not so sticky anymore. So this might stick around a little bit more. Anyway, they should be able to gather that information pretty quickly, I would imagine, based on if it's a pedestrian comment or a bike comment or whatever, that kind of thing. So anyway, that's what I've got. Any other questions or comments for our meeting tonight? All right, well then, 6:39, I can say we are adjourned, and thank you all for showing up, and good to see you all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All righty, bye-bye.
Bye.